Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Super.
You've
As
stabbed
always.
pricks in Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I've stabbed a lot of people.
Over how many hours?
102 hours.
Holy shit.
I can give you the quick stat on how many people I've stabbed, as because now they have that on your Xbox thing of how many people you've stabbed in the face if it ever shows up. It's a lot.
Was there a trophy or an achievement for like the number of kills that you get?
I'm not sure. No, it just gives you like a tally, like tells you how many hours you played, and for some reason they put people killed.
Yeah, okay.
It's just one of those
And that's
things.
one that the game collects, or that the Xbox is kind of collecting?
Xbox kinds of collects.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
So no achievement. There's no achievement to it whatsoever. Let's have a look. Here we go.
Yeah, I can't remember. I haven't played enough Valhalla for that.
So I've
Which is
killed.
a great comment to make considering the nature of this episode. But anyway.
Okay, so Valhalla. Time played, 4 days, 17 hours, 15 minutes. Total kills, 4,022.
Not bad.
I don't know how my controller's still alive if I've killed 4,000. I've probably tapped that button about 10 times as much. There's about 40,000 presses in that.
And you said it was 102 hours. I'm multiplying by
Well,
that by 6.
maybe a bit more than that.
And then how many? Oh, okay. Roughly. Okay. Either way,
roughly.
102 hours. Roughly. So that's
4,022.
4,000.
How many is that per a minute or per an hour?
Oh, whoops! I did it the wrong way.
Oh, dear.
4,022 divided by. Oh shit! I've forgotten what the 102 times 60.
Oh, you're the maths teacher here.
4,022. I know, but I just forgot what the number was. You're killing 0.65 people per minute.
Whoa. So I'm killing 6 people every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We'll round up to 7. We'll round up to 7 in that case.
I'm
So
killing
17
36 people. 36 people an hour.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
You heartless piece of shit. And with that, we're going to segue across to our topic for today because, yes, the Assassin's Creed stuff was very deliberate. If you haven't checked out the title of the episode, we are doing another Tiermaker episode. We are ranking the Assassin's Creed titles, just the core ones, with one exception. Liberation is in there on our list. And we've got our grades F through to A, and then our S tier on top. We've got a list there. We're going to kind of go through similar to what we did with... Oh, shit.
What did we do last time?
We've done this, haven't we?
We have done it. I just don't know what we did.
Why am I going blank on the episode? Holy shit.
I don't know what the tier... I remember the Tiermaker. I just don't know what it was we did.
Scroll through that quickly as well. God damn it. Playlists. Patched.
I don't know.
I'm trying to scroll through the play. Oh, this is not going off, not off to a great start. I'm going to try and skim through this at the same time as actually doing what we're here to do. So yeah, as I said, we're going to be doing a Tiermaker. We're going to be ranking all the. Oh, that's the Player 2 Players playlist. There we go.
Oh, dear.
We've got, as anyone who's watching can see, we've got all the core Assassin's Creed titles: Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3. The exception is kind of the spin-off in Liberation, which was a Vita game, but it's now on the consoles as well. And has been the subject of a lot of news in the last week or so.
Oh, right. I found it.
The first parties, wasn't it? Xbox first parties?
Oh, Xbox first parties. That was the one.
I just found it as well. Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Unity, Syndicate, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. And as I mentioned, we're going from A to F, but there's our S tier on top as well. And we'll start at square one with the very first Assassin's Creed title. We haven't discussed any of this before, so I'm kind of curious to see where we both stand on some of these titles.
Man.
The original Assassin's Creed, where do you reckon it belongs?
I would say, when it came out? 2007.
2007.
Something like that. That's 15 years ago. That's oh man, I feel so old. I remember picking it up from the store once. I thought, oh, this would be a good game. Played it. All you got to do is kill one guy and repeat 9 times. There is a story to it. There's this guy called Desmond who used to work at a bar and got kidnapped. Why? We don't know. Kristen Bell's in it.
Yeah, because his memory connects to his ancestor. He's an ancestor of Altair, and that's what they can throw.
Who's an assassin and a
sci-fi machine that focuses on his memories, all sorts of weird shit.
It's just called the Matrix, and they're trying to find some golden thing,
The apple.
the Apple of
The
Eden,
apple of Eden. Um,
which made no
I
sense whatsoever.
I distinctly remember the whole thing because I was at uni at this point. It was my first year of uni in Bendigo. I'd be catching the train in and out all the time. I'd basically become like the EB in Bendigo's #1 customer at this point because I actually have my own income. I've got basically a store that I can access on the daily on my way in and out to uni if I want to. I had that one pre-ordered. I had like the special edition pre-ordered. Surprise, surprise, everyone. Um,
Even goes
and
back to 2007.
dates back to 2007. Yeah, that would be exactly where it all starts, and probably actually starts with Assassin's Creed. Come to think of it, that might actually be
Oh
square
wow!
one for all the kind of collector's edition craziness from me. But yeah, I'd picked up the game, but earlier that morning I'd picked up the latest copy of Hyper Magazine, and I was reading all about it because they had their review in there and all those sorts of things. The day that the game came out, and I was
I'm
kind of
sorry.
looking at that.
Hyper,
Yeah, do you remember
Hyper
Hyper?
magazine. I do remember Hyper magazine. So you can tell this is man. I feel old when you say those words like
Dating ourselves a bit.
Hyper. You got Nintendo magazine, but Hyper. That
Still
was the
going on.
thing back in the day. Old Hyper.
Oh, an amazing magazine that's more or less just shut down, or even its father site, PC Power Plays, basically, unfortunately, died off in recent weeks. But yeah, I was, and then I remember because I think on that particular occasion, I think I had exams or something at the time, and so I wasn't willing to take the risk on good old V Line arriving when they needed to, so I drove in, did my exam, picked up the game, stopped at Hungry Jack's on the way out, and sat and read Hyper Magazine while I was eating.
And
And then went home and played the shit out of it. And I loved it at the time. Now obviously it's aged a little bit, but I don't think like some people are pretty quick to throw stones, and I think there's a lot of elements about that game that Ubisoft have abandoned that really ought to be in them a lot of the game since, like some of that structure, and you've
the
got your one
stealth.
target, and it's kind of I guess it's a bit more of a level by level sort of structure. I really liked it, and yeah, the stealth has kind of faded over the years. Like if you screwed up and got caught, yes,
You had to
it
run.
wasn't a fail state, but it was on for young and old, and it's just a bit different here where you
Yeah,
can just kind of bash your way through and still do what you need to do. The target doesn't
yeah.
really go anywhere.
No,
Whereas if you alert
he's
them
got
and
to be
they run,
sneaky.
like
They just
that
stand there.
really changes the whole face of things. It was really really cool. Like a lot more planning would have to go into it.
But even sort of back then, the combat itself wasn't, we'll say, the greatest. It
No, it
was
was a bit
early
rough.
days. It was a bit rough. But like you said, you had your target, and it didn't really move. It just stood there. Even if it got alerts going off, all you had to do was just, like you said, when those alerts went off, you had to run. There was no fighting your
Yeah,
way
you
out of
weren't going to
that
fight your
one.
way out of it.
Because just everyone, it's like the Blues Brothers. Instead of like a police chase, it was just all these soldiers just chasing after you.
It
They
really
and they
was
came
about
from anywhere.
stealth, which
Oh yeah,
is not
definitely.
so much the case anymore, I guess. But where
Which
do you
is a
reckon it
shame.
sits? What grade do you reckon you'd give it?
Oh, I think when you said that, I gave it a C, and I think
Yeah,
that's been. I thought that was being a bit harsh, but I thought if you really do look at it, it was good. I'm not gonna say that, but I think it was just that more. For me, it was more the repetitiveness of trying to find your target because it was all the same,
yeah,
just in a
no, I'd
different
agree.
location. Just either your
It's
eavesdropping, your pickpocketing, or there was something else there. I can't remember what it was, but interrogation, and
yeah,
then when you interrogate them, you stab them, and then
yeah.
you
It
go
always ends the
back.
same way.
Then you go back to your little bureau and talk to your old beardy face mentor.
Al
Which back
Mualim
in those days, yeah, and back in those days too, there was none of this cinematic stuff. It was just
in
no
engine.
camera whatsoever. It's just your third party perspective. And I always used to do, just to put it a bit more dramatic, do the old walk away, the old bold and the beautiful, over the shoulder
Actually,
style.
shit. Yeah, I did a lot of that too. Now you mention it.
I was like, yeah, I was like, I got to make this a bit more dramatic because you can see the anger in old Altair there with old beardy face. And so why not make it more bold and the beautiful with that sort of camera angle?
Casting one over the shoulder. Yeah, no, actually, I'd still agree with you. In spite of it, all the praise I was heaping on it, C is still probably the right spot. I think it's kind of hard. It creates a bit of a tight situation for us with everything else that's coming up too, if we went any higher. But there's a lot of areas that they've improved on since that kind of make it hard to justify, despite the
Oh
fact
yeah.
that the stealth's not there and I wish it was, or the stealth's not there to the same degree and I wish it was. But that level
Or
structure is very, very
or
similar.
the
Even the
alerts.
environment's very much the same. Whereas the very next entry, Assassin's Creed 2, like the vast difference in like every little part of the city as you're exploring it is kind of huge. So maybe that's the segue to skip onto that title. So we've given the original Assassin's Creed a C. What about Assassin's Creed 2?
Assassin's Creed 2. Where do you start? I remember picking it
Well, I
up
think you
at.
started a C. It has to it's C or higher.
Let's see. Well, I can't remember. I think I picked it up at. This is an old store too. At a store called
Game?
Game. Yep, Game. That was next to JB, where I used to get it from, because that was the only game store around.
Yep.
And I saw it there one day, and it said, this was 2011. I don't know how I remember that. Don't ask why, because this is the reason why. It said
Bit
Game
late to
of
the party on Assassin's Creed
It
2.
said, yeah, because with the first one, I wasn't overly that excited about it. I wasn't excited for a second. I was like, oh, it's Assassin's Creed 2. I thought, oh, cool. Whatever. Back then, I had an Xbox. There were better games, like, for instance, Gears of War 2.
Oh, how good was
So,
Gears?
so why not just put that?
Let's tier make the Gears games in the future.
Yes.
We've kind of already done a dedicated episode, but
Out of ranking, yes, but then it said on the case, it said Game of the Year edition, and I thought, oh yeah, now you got my attention. It was cheap, and I thought, you know what? I'll take a stab at it.
oh, but
Ba-dum-tsh. And all I can say is, I'm glad I did, because oh man, I still remember that game now, and I hadn't played it for was it almost 11 years, and I still remember that game.
there's a lot I remember about Assassin's Creed 2. For me, it's already in like it's our first conversation that are we in that? I mean, I think even a B is perhaps too low. I feel like it's A or S.
I'm putting it as an S. For me, it's an S.
Because
Without a doubt, it's an S.
I
Because to me, if it wasn't for Assassin's Creed 2, you wouldn't have the other 11 games that exist today. Because
yeah
it pretty much improved on everything that could go in the right direction with the parkour and all that, and the stealth. We can say the stealth as well.
Yep.
But it also added in what you would call a story. There was none of this pickpocketing, no eavesdropping, none of that. It was just a full-on story. No matter what, you go to go to your little position or whatever it is, story begins. And you still had the same thing. You still had your targets and all that, but there was a reason why old Ezio, the best assassin, or maybe second, best.
I think
everyone's favorite
still. Yeah.
There was a reason why he was going after those targets, and it's the old gaming cliche of they killed my family.
Yeah, look, it was a bit tropey in that sense, but it worked. And
It
then,
did.
of course, they started to pull in all the Templar v Assassin components to it, and it helped it not be all about that.
Yeah, and it's just more focused on the story of old Ezio. Nothing about the apple. Oh, there could have been something about the apple.
Well, there was still the modern day sort of component that really stuck around until the end of Assassin's Creed 3. And in terms of like, here's a story we're trying to spin about it, and then I think every game after that was more, hey, we're at a headquarters here. We're gonna just jump in and for lols, let's go check out the memories of your ancestor.
Hey, no more this Animus crap. Let's just go into VR or just look at your computer screen.
Yeah,
What is this shit?
So.
What is this first-person perspective crap? But we won't get to that yet. We're jumping the gun there.
Save that
yet.
for when we get to Black Flag onwards.
But
I think, totally agree.
I think it's everything too. You get your little costume changes too, which I don't think it really happened in the first Assassin's Creed. I can't remember. Or your little cape. I remember just the cape. I remember the cape.
You stayed in your pure white garb, and that's what helped you blend in with the monks and all that sort of stuff.
But the monks weren't white robes, were they? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, they were. I remember playing Valhalla and they were black robes. I thought, hang on a second, I don't remember these monks.
Yeah,
different monks, different time.
Totally white in the original Assassin's Creed.
And there we go.
Like the next few, I think they were all the same, except they were a bit more forgiving. You could have a little splash of color in your cape or whatever, and they didn't really care.
And
how
then
the people observing them.
It was also the introduction of your own little, community, town, place, where you collect feathers and put them in a chest.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah, there was a lot of collecting. I don't also remember the store. I can't remember what was in the store. I don't know if you just brought statues. I can't even remember. Like, I do remember the store. I just don't know what was in the store.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you that sort of level of
No,
specific.
me either. Maybe it's more capes. I can't remember.
Well, from there we'll segue across to, because Assassin's Creed 2 was so huge and so popular, and they had so much to work with that they did two spin-offs or two like sequels to that one specifically. First up's Brotherhood. How'd that stack up?
Um,
I've got a lot of
well,
love for Brotherhood. I wouldn't
yes.
put it in the S tier. I'm not going to
No,
put it in the
definitely
S
not
tier.
S tier. But then some of it I don't. I think the one thing I hated about Brotherhood, I still do today, is the whole synchronization thing. Because back in those days, it was that after two, there was this having to do this fully synchronized stuff. Like, oh, you can't go on the water to kill this guy. Like, hey, I want
Oh
to go on
yeah,
the
some of
water.
those little conditions and stuff.
Yeah, they're like, hey, I want to go on the water. I don't. Or if you accidentally, because some of the jumping and that too was a bit hit and miss at times. Where you go, oh, I want to jump on that tree, and then you can just completely jump off a cliff for some reason. You go, that's not what I wanted to do.
I mean, that really plagued a lot of the Assassin's Creeds until.
Up to
I
about
mean,
Black Flag, I reckon. It was
oh,
way later, or
yeah,
even
Black
after
Flag,
that.
maybe even Unity. Like the first one
Unity,
was
yeah.
really purely next gen and or next gen at the time. And even then, obviously, we'll have a conversation about Unity and some of the issues it had early on. But I don't know. For me, I'd call Brotherhood an A because I
Oh,
mean, like I
okay.
would pull it back for some of the reasons that you spoke about, but also like that whole Brotherhood component and kind of going out almost as a squad and kind of issuing commands to
Yeah,
people that
that was
way.
the good thing where you just
That was
command
really
people
really
like,
cool.
oh, there's that guy. Like, I can't be bothered killing him. Hey, you, just put an arrow in his face
Yeah.
for me, would you? Like, do your whistle, put your hand up, like, dropped, done. Like, wonderful. Just go on with your day.
But like they still had to be a certain like level of proficiency. Like they'd get in there and maybe engage with someone, but that'd allow like depends on obviously how you want to do it. Like if you cleared everyone out all the way up to your target, and then yeah, you could I don't know, it was almost a little less satisfying to then send your guy to go do it yourself. Whereas I was a bit more my kind of tact was use the other members of the Brotherhood around me to kind of engage everyone else, and then that would allow me to kind of creep through the roof or whatever the case happened to be, and just jump down, knife them in the back, and I'd walk out. No one even knew I was there. They knew about all my mates, but they had no idea I
Yeah,
was
there's
there.
like, oh, who are these guys? Like, hey, I'll come up and just go stab.
Like I just kind of walk out, everyone's done. It's like high fives, everyone, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go get some drinks. Let's
Yeah.
go, gang.
So I
Job
don't know.
well done.
I assume you're kind of maybe on the more B side then.
I am definitely on a B side.
I'll
Just
embrace that. I'll embrace it.
like I said, it's
B
not
for me.
terrible. I think it's just the whole synchronization thing. I think sort of, I'd say, your side task, because I was in two. I was like a big fan of those glyph things on walls and that, and
Yep.
all the bigs. And then they did it in the second one in Brotherhood, and it seemed to just be rubbish. Like, I don't know where they went wrong with that, because well, maybe because I had to play chess and I don't know the moves in chess. That was it. I was done. Like, nah, forget it. I'm
Nah,
done.
can't do this shit.
Can't do it. Forget it.
So the one that I guess like community wise of those three that people think the least of is Revelations. What about you? Are you in a similar sort of boat? Like
I didn't mind it, but I
better,
think
worse than
because
Brotherhood?
I would almost put on the same,
Right. Whereas
not but not
I'd
quite.
be one lower than
But
Brotherhood, I reckon.
yeah, maybe a bit lower. But I think with the end of Brotherhood, I think I didn't like the end of the Brotherhood. I think I just got angry at
Yeah,
how
right.
Brotherhood ended. But I think Revelations, I think I was just glad it was done because I thought, great, we can just move on from Ezio. Nothing
Yeah.
against Ezio. It's just they've been dragging it on for
They
two
stuck with
games
it for
too
a
many.
while. Yeah.
Yeah, two games too many in my opinion. They should have just left it with two and
They
moved
couldn't
on.
help themselves. Made lots of money.
Yeah, because everyone just wanted the statues. Everyone talked about him because he was a cool guy, even though he murdered lots of people. But
He was a
hey,
very cool guy.
he was a very cool guy. He knew Leonardo da Vinci, had a crossbow. Early
It's a win.
days. It is a
Win-win.
win.
I'd slap a C on it personally because
That's what I
it
put
didn't
too. Yeah.
quite hit. It didn't quite hit like Brotherhood did. I felt there was like that. Yeah, they'd kind of run out of material a little bit, even though they're bouncing between different cities, and so it was cool to kind of explore the locations. And I feel like
Yeah.
where the additional quest or like the bit to get 100% synchronization didn't really bother me that much in Brotherhood. I think the design of them wasn't as good for Revelations, and so they started to bother me more in that case.
Yeah. I think the only thing I remember from Revelations is the end where you just see a skeleton man of Altair in a chair.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's all I remember. Oh, and then at the end, when the credits hit and Desmond goes, "I know where to go," I thought, "Cool, let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's get this done.
Whatever. Let's get this done. Let's get on to 3 and move on from
And
old mate SEO."
getting on to 3, we will. How did Assassin's Creed 3 strike you? Because I was losing my shit about it in the lead up to it. In the lead up to launch, I was super keen on that American setting, and
Yeah, I was too. I thought, yes, we're out of England, we out of Europe. Let's go to the Civil War,
yeah,
which didn't bother me. I didn't care. I was like, hey, we're out of that England area. We're moved on, or Europe. I should say Europe. Although I would say the first 5 hours, I thought, oh, this is really good. I like this character. He's really great. And then he says, well, we are the Templars. I'm like, hang on, what? Whoa, hold up a second.
and are you thinking about? Isn't 4?
That's 3. That's 3.
I thought that was like Rogue with the whole Kenway thing, and
No, but you're all the Hatham for like the first few hours of that of 3.
Was that the beginning of 3 where you were Hatham?
That was the beginning of 3.
Right. Okay.
And then you transition to old boring face Connor.
Oh yeah, actually yeah, good point. Sorry, now it's all coming back to me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember which game all that was in terms of when they pulled the little turn like
The
that.
old Templar twist. Yeah, it was 3.
I wasn't a big fan of when they did that.
I thought I was like, oh, hey, hang on, wait, hang on, what? What the hell is all this? You're going into your theatre, just casually walking past somebody and just stabbing them, and then moving on. I think that was 3. I'm not sure. Hang on, was that 4? Okay, so now we're getting mixed up here.
Yeah,
No, that wasn't 4. That definitely wasn't 4.
I feel like I was right in the first place. I don't know now. Either way,
No,
I'm kind of exploring.
The Templar thing is definitely 3. I know that. I definitely know that.
It's
But the whole theatre thing, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
That could be our Unity. It's just all coming. This is the problem now,
thing, like,
where it slowly comes down. It just starts all mashing into one another.
Yeah, because 3 does cross over with 4, which has Rogue. Unity, they do like they connect up in ways as well.
Unity and Yo, yeah.
Yeah, it's and compounding things was Unity and Rogue came out the exact same time, which wasn't ideal for kind of, I think, either game really in the end, for different reasons. But again, we'll come to that shortly. But yeah, I think like 3, there was a lot that I liked about the setting and all that sort of stuff, but then it just, I think, just got a bit repetitive. And there was a bit too much nothing.
Yeah.
Like they went for a far more outdoorsy sort of focus than some of the others, especially kind of all the Assassin's Creed 2 based games where obviously you're outdoors all the time. You're kind of bouncing across rooftops and stuff, but like it's built up. There's a lot going on. Whereas 3 is a lot of empty space, and they hadn't kind of gotten that balance that a lot of other open world games hadn't gotten right at that point as well. Especially if it's not like a GTA or Assassin's Creed 2 where there's like a big city sort of thing with lots going on. If it's a more open sort of maybe fantasy style, or Assassin's Creed 3 in this case, it's like, okay, there's a deer over there that you can go and shoot if you want, or oh shit, that's a bear, you better run.
Oh, go set a trap. Go set a trap for a rabbit. Like, I don't want to do that. It's like, oh, you caught a rabbit. I thought, great. I'm in the middle of a mission here. I can't really go back to get my rabbit. And then you go back to get your rabbit, and someone took it. I thought, what's the point of that? My rabbit is gone.
Sort of things that they just, it's not even totally their fault. Like the industry itself hadn't worked it out at that point, but it does make it a weaker entry. But how weak are you thinking? Like, is it worse than 1 and Revelations, or about on par with them?
No, I gave it a B because it had one thing.
So better than.
Just because it had a pirate, you did slightly get to use a pirate ship.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll pay that.
Not much, but not much. So yeah, there was very little time.
They teased what was coming up, really.
Yes, and I thought, oh, you get a pass for the pirate ship.
Yeah.
And the first 5 hours, I'll give you a pass for that. But not so much the main character. He was a bit boring.
Oh, he was.
And sort of the ending was just, I still don't know what happened at the end of that. I was scratching my head. I don't know. So
I don't think they know. I don't think they know.
Yeah, I know. I think it was obvious when it happened. It's like everyone got angry and go, what the hell, man? Like, why?
They needed to create a way to justify things in the first game, and like I've done a lot of research into that in recent months that for reasons I can't disclose publicly yet. But then they had to stick with it, and I think that's where things started to get a bit messy and complicated. Like on one game on its own for the original Assassin's Creed, sure, it's kind of cool and it's novel, but then how do you try and justify this narrative and keep it on going when Ubisoft have gone, oh shit, it's super popular. We're going to put out 5 games in no time.
And talk about this stupid gold Apple of Eden thing
Yeah.
for 5 games. Like, oh, I don't want to talk about Apple of Eden anymore.
Let alone
Move
the
on.
other items of Eden, like the other, whatever.
Pieces of Eden.
Pieces
I
of
don't know.
Eden, yeah, that's it. It starts getting real messy. So that's Assassin's Creed 3. Now, I don't think you've played Liberation, have you?
No, because it was a PSP game back in the day.
It was a Vita game.
Vita game.
It is across on the consoles now, and there's been a bit of controversy around it in the last week because Ubisoft was going to rip it down. Even for people who'd bought it and own it, you still wouldn't be able to access it. I think they're in the process of walking that decision back because it was a fucking stupid idea. But
maybe it's just get the sales up. Like, oh, let's buy it so they don't take the internet down.
But I think all that was on Steam. Like, I don't think they'd have that same sort of easy thing to wade through when it comes to the consoles, let alone the fact that obviously there's hard copies of it as well on the consoles. So it was always going to exist in some way, but it was just a stupid idea. Liberation, I would say, of all the games on this list, is probably the weakest on the list, and I think that was because it was constrained a little bit by the Vita. Not that it's a bad game. In fact, the story is really fascinating. How it connects to 3 is really kind of cool. The lead character herself, fantastic, first female protagonist at that stage. And she was a good one too, but it's just, I think the limitations of the platform that they were on kind of just made it a weaker game. Like, they just couldn't go all in like every other Assassin's Creed had at that point. It doesn't make it a bad game, but I'd probably like where we've got 2 as an S, we've got Brotherhood and 3 as a B, we've got Assassin's Creed 1 and Revelations at C. I'd be probably giving this a D personally, and I guess. Actually, I guess I may as well just drag it there because you don't have anything.
I don't have a choice. I don't have a say in this.
So we won't stick with that for too long because obviously there's nothing you can kind of add to that particular part of the conversation. So let's jump across now to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is one of the absolute biggest and most popular of the franchise.
And there's a good reason why. Because you
it's
get to own. It's called you get to be a pirate.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Even though for some reason your main character has never been an assassin before, he's a pirate but knows assassin skills, which makes absolutely no sense whatever. But let's be honest, no one cares.
No one cares.
Because you got a pirate ship.
Yeah, you just want to sail the Caribbean and fuck shit up. It was great.
And just shoot down the Spanish and British. Hey, I'm all there.
Yeah, I was keen. I don't know about you, but this is my favorite Assassin's Creed. Still.
Yeah, I would say I would say second best for me, just behind 2, but not by far. It's very close. I think it's just the whole. We will get it out of the way now. The whole idiotic first-person perspective outside of your computer.
Yeah. That's where they finally introduced that sort of. They'd run out of gas on the modern day storyline, and they just.
Oh hey, here's a level 2 access. Like walk around, like there's some oh they're coming like. They're not really coming, they're just pretending to come. You're not going to get caught. You can just stand there for 20 minutes and they're still not going to come.
Yeah.
And then there's old buddy Sean serving coffee, who I never liked to start off with. Others thought he was a dick into. I wanted to stab him, but I couldn't.
Thoroughly would have deserved the stabbing too.
Yeah, back in those days. Not these days, not so bad, as I found out. He's toned down a bit.
Kind of cool,
old Sean. Yeah, I think he's a cool dude now. I think, oh, you're all right now. He's like, I remember you. He says, hey, he's there serving coffee to people in this. I don't even know what it's called. Abstergo? Is it called Abstergo?
Yeah, Abstergo. Yeah,
I think it's Abstergo.
One of the bad guys. Yeah.
Yes, and that was. I didn't want to be outside of so I don't know what you call it. I didn't want to be in the building. Let's just say that I wanted to be on a pirate ship and just
get me back in the Animus and back on the boat.
Just sink some ships. That's all I want to do.
Because it's amazing to do it, and they really went full open world. There's they really did get that balance right that wasn't in 3 in terms of there was always something engaging to do, which is why so many people lost so many hours to that game. And I still think about going back to every now and then to get the platinum, just to.
I just want to buy to get the platinum.
Okay, that's fair. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if I
PlayStation Plus, you can get it for free.
Oh, tempting.
Or PlayStation Plus Extra, get it for free on your PS4. You'd be laughing.
Sure, we can't play the first one. That's alright. Don't need to.
Yeah, that's the only. That's basically the only Assassin's Creed you can't play on the PS4 or 5 at the moment.
Nah, I'll just play 4. don't need to play the rest of them. They don't have pirate ships.
That's fair. I'll pay that. Yeah, I'm constantly thinking about just one day going back to that game and just picking through it and ticking everything off. But it's kind of crazy. That's 2013. Again, like the whole aging thing, and that's 6 years after the original Assassin's Creed. But I still,
9 years.
I still remember it really clearly.
So do I.
Did
I remember.
Because at the time it came out, like it was a launch day game for the Xbox One and PS4,
Was.
but also coming out on the older consoles. Like, what were you playing it on when it first came out, or when you first got it?
Well, I didn't get a new I didn't get a Xbox One till 3 years later, so I got it on the 360.
Yeah. Okay.
And I still enjoyed that. When I got my Xbox One, I got Black Flag secondhand. And I got it, and I played it there too. I was like, yeah, still a good game no matter what. With Mary, or not actually called Mary, she was disguised as a boy pirate.
Oh,
no one knew, and some other people that I can't remember.
Just
probably
scrolling through my trophies to see how big of an ask it would actually be to go and do. There's Unity, so I'm getting close.
Always getting close.
Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Oh, there'd be something silly in it, like I don't know, probably take out all the legendary ships.
No, I think there was legendary ships and whatnot. But if you're committing to it, then you're going to get to a level where you can take out that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest drag, was trying to upgrade your ship. That took a long time. You had to sink a lot of ships.
60% of the actual core game stuff.
Oh.
Trophy-wise.
There's
a lot that I still need to do, but it's all just kind of exploring the open world stuff. Complete 100% of all main mission constraints. 2.1% of people have done it. Ouch.
2 point. Oh, is that got the stupid synchronization thing too? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think it does.
So, yeah. So there'd be a few missions where just kind of cherry picking missions, like, I need to replay this one so that I can.
No. No, I don't want PS Plus anymore.
I would need. Well, yeah, to chase down that plat, I'd need to have like a fairly clear slate for a while and pick up my old save game. There's no way I'd replay the whole game. Like, I just pick up from here, level myself up as much as I can, and then just try and finish it off. But like, capture all the forts, complete all naval contracts, craft the hunter.
Oh yeah, forts. I forgot about that.
Defeat all legendary ships.
I mean, if you got border shooting ships, you can go shoot a fort.
Explore all underwater shipwrecks.
Oh, no thanks. I don't like sharks. I hated sharks.
Every location of the game. Now, that was like right down to even the smallest tiny little island, if I remember. So like, it'd be so easy to just miss stuff. This would be me committing weeks of my time, I reckon.
Those sharks.
Oh yeah.
I hated them. They were a pain. You couldn't do anything to defend yourself especially in Black Flag. You're on your own.
One day, maybe.
One day. But when you just said that, when you said underwater, like, nah, I'm not doing it. Forget it.
All right, well, let's jump
across. I draw the line. Did we give a ranking on that?
Well, we both said it was kind of at. Or
it's an S. Yeah, it's an S.
So it's
definitely. It's an S.
Assassin's Creed Rogue. Now, it came out the same day as Unity a year later. Or was it too late?
I would say a year later, because back in those days, it was year after year. There was like, they were releasing Assassin's Creed games until Syndicate, then they stopped doing yearly releases.
Took a bit of a break after that. But yeah, Rogue and Unity came out the same date. We'll start with Rogue because it kind of continues the pirate trend. How did that follow up to Black Flag in your eyes? Getting to do more pirate stuff, but were you burnt out on it, or did it still kind of click?
I think not really. I think because I don't know because I think it went from being more the open world back to a smaller area. It wasn't like, it wasn't the Caribbean. You go to
it wasn't massive.
North America. You go to North America or somewhere like, it was like in Canada. It was like a Canadian sort of area. I remember snow. That's all I remember.
Kind of the North Atlantic part, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's around there, and I think it was just. I think what they did, I think they made things a little bit too easy. I think upgrading your ship took no time, and then taking down those legendary ships didn't take as much effort. It
wasn't as bad.
Yeah, as last time, and I thought, that's really boring, because I had a lot of fun just going around in circles, doing donuts, taking down that massive legendary ship, and the satisfaction of actually doing it. It was great. Also, it was also great, especially going back to Black Flag, picking up strays on just floated around in the ocean.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good.
Just
Good
like,
point. I
there's a
totally
guy
forgot
there.
about
Like,
that.
I better pick him up. I lost the guy at the other battle, so better go pick that guy up. He's part of my crew now.
Yeah, I remember all that.
But I think the
Yeah,
other
good
thing
question.
too, because I remember it's all coming back to me now because it's all mixed in together with upgrading. I think weapons, outfits, and all that. You had to get like crocodile skin, or it was like pretty much like Far
It's Far
Cry.
Cry. Yeah.
It's pretty much that's what I call Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 to me is just Far Cry 3 because it's exactly the same mechanics.
Yeah.
Just one's in third person, one's in first person.
That's just when they
But-
really start to get into the swing of what a Ubisoft game is even still today.
Yeah.
Ubisoft,
But I think
like
with
Assassin's,
yeah.
Far Cry, they're all following the same sort of formula.
Yeah, I think with Rogue, it was just so much effort to just craft stuff because you had to go get this snow leopard or go get this
Yeah.
whale or whatever. Oh yeah, harpoon. I forgot.
Yeah, the
Peter.
harpooning.
Oh, Peter.
Yeah, they
Complain about it.
They did.
Like,
They actually
complain
did
about
didn't they?
complain about something that's not even real. But they don't go
Sends
around
the wrong
telling.
message.
Oh, well, go tell Japan that then. Don't just tell Ubisoft because it's an easy target. Go,
Yeah.
weasels. But just sort of crafted and all that. I sort of just got a bit bored of that too. I think it pretty much was Black Flag, but exactly the same of what they did with Brotherhood. Just somehow made it
Just a little
worse.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little worse. B. Would that be?
Yes,
fair to you?
I did give it a B.
Yeah,
The only
okay,
thing I
great.
got
We're
out,
on the same
the only
page.
thing I got out of that because Rogue was before 3, and the only thing I got out of that was how that guy in 3 got his limp. That's all I got
Yeah.
out of Rogue.
Yeah, there's
Like
weird
getting
connections
shot in the
between
leg.
3,
Yeah.
4, Rogue, and Unity that if you missed it, it's if you missed anything along the way, it kind of confused. There's tiny little connections that probably aren't all that important, but they justify in weird ways. Like, yeah, it's all kind of a bit weird, but it's a good game, just not a great one, I guess.
No.
So next up is Unity. Came out the exact same day. That was the next gen title. That was your PS4, Xbox One exclusive. And it launched in a pretty bad way in the eyes of many.
I think
faces,
bad, I think bad is a kind of an understatement here because it was, bad. It was really bad at the time. It was something that was not really seen before until that very day when Unity got
and
released.
then Assassin's Creed Andromeda. Sorry, Assassin's Creed
Andromeda.
Mass Effect Andromeda. A couple of years later, kind of having the same sort of issues there with the horrible facial animations and like terrifying looking things. I never actually experienced that though because
Me either.
I was reviewing Rogue. And got my review out for Rogue, and it was one of those where like I had it a little bit before launch. I put out my review for Rogue, but of course at the same time the Unity reviews are dropping, and so I start kind of reading through the Unity ones and hearing about all these facial issues, and the internet starts to do its thing. And my opinion was I'll wait a few months. They're going to patch and fix this stuff up, which they did, of course. And you don't have faces just kind of exploding like they once did. And Unity's great. Unity's a genuinely awesome game. Especially some of the multiplayer they added in there with the 4-player co-op.
Yeah, I think the other thing is too, it was that bad that they said, we're sorry, have a free game, please don't sue us. That was pretty much
the Nintendo panicked style thing.
Yeah, they said, if you download this game, you can't sue us, okay? Good.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, that's if you download, you've accepted our apologies. Suck shit.
So many treasure chests. That's all I remember is so many chests. A lot of chests. But I think one thing kind of disappointed me. It's not a big thing. I think it's just this whole new console thing and downgrading sort of thing. Like we went from Black Flag, big open world, sail around a pirate ship, not a parish ship. Pirate ship, and then you come to Unity, and all you are in is just Paris, and that's it.
Yeah, you went back to the Assassin's Creed 2 style hustle and bustle of a city again, which was fine. Like, it had been a while since we'd done
big.
that.
It was big, so it wasn't really big of a problem. It's just, I missed my pirate ship, that's all.
And there was the indoor components, like you actually, You
Yeah.
could actually take the combat indoors, and again, there was the co-op and all those sorts of things. Like, it was, and when I say indoors, obviously there was plenty of indoor scenes in even the first Assassin's Creed, but like, it was kind of anywhere you wanted
Yeah.
indoors.
You could go into like you could just go into any like building. It wasn't like in Assassin's Creed games where you go past a building and it's just shut. You couldn't go in, no way in. It's just
Yeah,
a lovely feature. But with Unity, it was the first time that
almost anything was
you'd
possible.
be able. Yeah, it was not like something like Assassin's Creed 3 where you just had little shortcuts. So you could just have a little cheeky animation, run through the dinner table, set in, and just go out the other window. It was just pretty much you could go for a fight, just run through, do whatever.
Do anything, yeah. And again, like, did you ever play the game in co-op? Did you have anyone
No,
to try it out with?
I
Neither did
did.
I, actually, which was a bit of a shame. It was just
But
kind of, I mean, randoms online. I tried it with, like, random
but the
matchmaking.
thing, but I think the one thing that Unity did and really showed is that how many like NPCs you could have at the one time.
Yeah,
Because you could have a lot of people there and just get them to riot. And
yeah,
it was
true.
like,
Yeah, you really could.
yeah, it was like
Time impact,
massive
if you really
crowds.
upset people, and then they'd just lose their shit
Yeah, it's just
and do the work for you.
yeah, and the frame rate never dropped. It was you could just go through the crowd, no problem. Just go around, just do the old stealthy stab someone and continue walking on without a frame drop
Without nothing.
inside.
Yeah, that
And
was that was the thing. And again, like, for people who weren't aware of the thing at the time, the technical issues were facial animations and those sorts of things, like graphical things. It wasn't
and sort of just
performance was great.
animations, yeah, because just animations in itself. Because I know I saw one where everyone was like sitting down and getting up at the same time, where it wasn't just randomization; it was just
Yeah,
all sit at the same time. But it's just sort of thing when I played Cyberpunk, looking at it going, at least Assassin's Creed Unity had actual people in the streets, even if
yeah.
their own problems. I thought if Cyberpunk can't even put 3 people in, but Unity can put an entire crowd in, no problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this
actually,
this was
good
like
point.
and this was like the start of the Xbox One and PS4, not compared to the end of it where you just can't make sense of it. Like,
Cyberpunk came out with a whimper.
yeah,
Holy
with
shit!
the
I
whimper.
just even thinking about those two being kind of in the same generation's weird, but
Yeah.
like, it's kind of exclusive. So they're kind of taking Brotherhood, taking Black Flag out of the mix there, because obviously it was kind of straddling both. But okay, so based on all of that, what grade would you give? Where would you rank Unity?
Well, I did give it a B, but consider we did talk about because all I thought about was we're in France and he speaks it and he's got a British accent. But I could forgive the accent. I don't know if I could just stand listening to a French person for a whole game. So I
Yeah,
think it was a good choice because I used to make fun of it because it was in France with English people speaking. And it was made by a developer that was in Quebec.
yeah,
Which, if no one knows of Quebec, it's sort of in the French region of Canada.
Canada.
But I said a B, but I think I'm gonna jump it up to an A
Oh, yeah,
or
okay.
maybe a B. But
Yeah,
it's
I
sort of
I would have sat on the B side, especially considering the next game that we're going to talk about.
oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
I'll
We'll get
stick
to
with the
we'll get
B.
to
I'll
the
stick. I'll stick
syndicate.
with the B. I'll stick with the
We'll,
B.
we'll deal with syndicate in a sec then. But yeah, okay. Yeah, B is kind of where we're united there. And I guess one of the other things was that Unity was the first one where they started to change up the gameplay a bit too, in terms of like the way you climbed. You had to use, it was kind of L1 and R1 to
Oh
kind of left
yeah.
and right and those sorts of
Oh
things. Which
yeah. And B, but which wasn't bad. I just kept forgetting about the
I
B
kept
part.
falling
'Cause
back into old habits
it's like
from every
just
other
press
Assassin's Creed
A.
game.
Yeah, just press A. Just jump off the roof
Yeah,
instead of just holding B and have just safely climbing down like a
yeah.
normal person.
It took a long while to get used to that.
Yeah, it did.
Fuckers. All right, then clearly a game that's going to maybe divide us a little bit. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, set in London. What? Where? Okay, you're the one with I think what maybe is the more controversial thought here potentially, but that's
Well,
just my own take.
it depends on who I played. If I was
Oh yeah,
if I was
or Evie.
Jacob, boring, like most boring character ever. Evie, great.
Evie's great.
Evie's great. Like the combat in that too was way too easy as well. It's just press one button for a counter and it's pretty much this quick time animation of
The
belting
timing
their
window
head
is
in.
generous. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
very generous. But if it was just a choice between Jacob or Evie, I'd go Evie every time.
every
You
time
look at
she
that.
was the best. I was
Yeah.
just taking a look. I can see my old big Assassin's Creed like collector's edition.
Oh right.
well, like the steelbook anyway for it. Had that realization. Hang on, all these things I've just been talking about, they're just off camera. So
I think the upside to this to Syndicate is your headquarters is a train.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty cool. Just everything's like, oh, you got an underground tunnel like in Unity. You just pretty much in a, I wouldn't say a sewer, just some place next to the river there somewhere. And then you come to Syndicate, a train.
Cruising along on a train.
Cruise along. Where something like Black Flag, you had your own little community. Me, like we did with Assassin's Creed 2, same thing, community, all that.
Trains
But
are way faster
Syndicate,
than boats.
trains are so much cooler, especially in that where we were in England, which was the Industrial
Revolution, yeah.
Revolution, with some child labour.
Oh yeah, yeah, a little bit of that.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that.
Well, there was a bit of that going on at the time. So yeah.
But this is where the whole so much Templar stuff. I forgot about the Templars. It's just Templars walking around the street, thinking they own the place. And what do? Take over their territory. That's all I remember from the game. Was just such tedious work of trying to just take over territories.
I don't remember finding it all that tedious, but maybe I just
depends if
didn't attack.
I'll say it depends if you did them all or not.
I'll have to try and scroll through again for my my trophies while we're chatting and see how it went. Yeah, I found myself kind of really. I personally would give this one an A. I'd consider it above the likes of. Oh, geez, no, actually, like A, but like a low A, I guess, for want of a better phrase.
Yeah, I gave it a B because this is sort of I would say the rough patch of Assassin's Creed. It just started to get I'd say a little bit boring, a bit of a burnout. Sean was back. I know that much. There was some big hassle going on. But the one thing I'm glad about is that they got rid of that stupid, what's it called? The whole, same with Unity, I'll say Unity as well, the whole first person rubbish. I was so glad that was gone, and then they just completely focused on the game. And that was it.
Yeah, I did appreciate that, that's for sure. Yeah, it looks like from my trophies I've got a lot to do, a lot still to do in Syndicate, but I feel like I did heaps, so maybe it's just like I did a whole bunch of these things and then just never followed through. What came out around that time? Oh, and also one of the best pieces of DLC where they gave you Jack the Ripper to take on. That was the whole.
Oh, really?
That was really awesome.
Oh wow, I did not get that.
That was that period of time, and I've lost. Oh, for some reason it scrolled all the way back up again. Thanks, PlayStation app. Yeah. Okay, I get. Like I can. Yeah, you can talk me down to a B. I can appreciate that. The next title, I'm definitely pro an A for. Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes.
Would you agree with that? Can we slide
an
that
A?
in and just explain?
Where?
Yeah, an A for Origins.
Yeah, of course. You know why?
Cool.
Yeah, there's one reason why Origin gets an A.
By exhaustion.
Because you get to ride a camel.
Well, yeah, okay, you get to ride a camel. That's pretty sweet too.
That's pretty cool. But crocodiles. Oh, damn crocodiles. But it was just nice to sort of go back to that open world. But go to Egypt, or you can say Egypt. Yeah, we'll say Egypt. The desert. Let's say the desert. We got to go somewhere that wasn't tropical, or was it England? We got to go to the desert. Yeah, it was great.
It was kind of cool.
It was cool.
Even some of the big empty expanses were kind of cool. Like you know that a desert is empty and has nothing for miles and miles. So you can't kind of complain about it in the same way that you might complain about Assassin's Creed 3 for kind of being empty.
But when you had like a whole heap of nothing but sand, then you get closer and closer. What do you see? Pyramids, and a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
Just get this big pyramid just out of the middle of nowhere. Like, oh wow, that's a big pyramid.
It was exciting to explore it.
It was. But it also was just the change as well. You go to somewhere like there was desert, then you magically just go to an oasis somewhere. And you're like, oh, this is really nice.
Yeah.
This is a nice place
out there too.
And yeah. But I think that's where they sort of started to fix things up, like the whole.
Well, they went full blown RPG
weapon system.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the old weapon system happening, and get to change Bayek's hair. if you wanted it.
Very important.
Very important. But I think that was sort of.
And again, there
I
was a
don't
bit
know
of the
what
naval stuff
hell
because you had what was her name?
Oh
Bayek
yes,
and Anna, I think it was. Um,
Anna.
kind of getting her like her perspective on the story every now and then. It wasn't in the same fashion as Evie and Jacob. Like she was much more infrequent, I guess. But it was really cool whenever you cut across to that and kind of get a little snapshot as to what was going on in her part of the story, and it was really interesting. It complemented the rest.
Yes, it did. It was very nice, and to see how it all came together at the end, you thought, so that's how it all began. Again, trying to
Yeah, kind of
find
get all those pieces because there's an early death in the game that is kind of the real crutch for the whole plot.
Man, I'm
But
trying
it's
to find.
kind of fascinating
Oh, there we go.
how all that worked. Jeez, I love Origins.
Yeah, and for Origins, all I did was play for 1 day, 19 hours, so a bit less than Valhalla.
It's still enough
I
time to
can't.
finish it.
It is. That's finished. That is finished. But I don't think I can go through and just do all those, whatever the missions were. I can't
Oh
remember
yeah,
what they
there was. I
were.
mean, this is where probably I mean, Assassin's Creed games had always been big, and there was always a lot to do in them. But this was the first time where we really started to see a bit of that modern bloat that we're getting across Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla. Like they really packed these thing out and gave you tons to. Like they wanted you there for hundreds of hours. They wanted to put you there for 102 hours, like you did for Valhalla. But at least in the case of Origins and even Odyssey as well, 100 hours would mean that you'd finished all the content. You're not even close to done with Valhalla, are you?
No, not even close.
It's insane.
Oh wait, it said. Hang on, let me go back to it. Let me just quickly check. It says total progress. Oh, actually, 90%. I didn't actually know it was that. But
Jeez,
pretty
that's
much
not
all.
bad.
This is what no. But this is what I did. I finished it. Did the main story in that, and uninstalled it. I wanted nothing more of it. I was like, no, I don't want to go back and get all those
Don't
small
get sucked
things.
in.
Get sucked in. I've got other games to play. I've
No,
played
fair
enough
enough.
already.
Yeah, I can pay that. I'm just, oh, jeez, no, the app's not playing nice
Trying to
for me.
find it.
But yeah, I mean the pyramids were the real highlight. Yeah, certainly the fact that it became far more RPG-y, and this was at this point by the time this came out, it was after The Witcher 3, so you could see kind of the influence of what had happened with The Witcher 3 on a lot of games, including Assassin's Creed. And it was at the time, and obviously there's been a couple titles since, but it was probably the best open world outside of The Witcher 3, following on from The Witcher 3. So
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
was
kind of
pretty
hard
happy
to
with how
just.
things were going.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to like go after The Witcher 3. It's almost near death it does, but
Well, that
it
was the
does
issue that
it
Syndicate
does
kind of had.
separate. Yeah, it does separate itself from The Witcher 3, and that's a good thing, I would say, because
It
if it
separates
just
itself because of camels.
yeah, of course,
Yeah,
it's always the camels and pyramids. You didn't
yeah,
see no pyramids in The Witcher 3. There's nothing to be seen, or camels,
all
I should
camels.
say, no camels, or you don't get the flying. Yeah, you do no flying bird in Witcher 3 either.
No.
No pet bird. I think it's a bird.
Oh,
Pigeon. I don't know.
the eagles, hawks, all that sort of stuff they have going on in the Assassin's Creed games. That leaves us with two more Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now I'm going to put it out there straight away. For me, this is an S tier one. I think this is the best of the modern three.
Well, if
But
if
I
it's
also
not an
don't
S,
have as much time with Valhalla as you. Like for me, where you said nothing with Liberation, I'm a little bit the same with Valhalla. Like I've put about 25 hours into it, but
oh, you're just scraping the
far from
surface.
done. Yeah, exactly. I'm nowhere near ready, so I can't speak to that as much. But yeah, honestly though, I feel like that's the best example. And again, like maybe people's experiences differ depending on whether they pick Alexios or Cassandra. Cassandra's the best.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
but yeah, I'd be
But
giving it an S. What about you?
well, it depends how stupid enough you are to platinum it. Would you give it an S?
I haven't.
This guy did.
Yeah. Would you give it an S?
I would give it. I definitely. Why? I definitely give it an S. I only get platinums for games. I only get platinums for games if I really, really enjoy them. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I really, really enjoyed.
But it can be one of those ones that after you've done everything for the platinum, you can be like, "Holy shit, I shouldn't have done that." Like I've punished myself.
Well, I did do that for 100 hours. That was so the last two Assassin's Creed games, 202 hours.
No regrets.
of gameplay. No regrets. Or maybe of Valhalla, there might be some regret. But
Well, that's 'cause
Odyssey,
you're gonna keep going back to it and keep
no.
ticking stuff off.
No. Odyssey, absolutely no regrets because that was one fun game.
Yeah, and even the way they
Everything
crossed
about
it over with Valhalla as well, with DLC right up until even
Yeah.
after Valhalla came out. Like the way they sort of ported that game was incredible.
I think it's also the characters you meet too. There's just no boring characters. You get your old dodgy characters, and then there's mini mission about the son, the dad, and the mum. If you've never done it,
Everyone's favorite quest, that one.
that's a fantastic quest. If you haven't
You
done
killed
it,
my
you're
dad
missing
and
out.
fucked my mum.
Or the other way around. Or
Yeah.
other way around. I think it depends
on
who
what
you
the-
go.
Good point. Yeah.
But that was quite funny. I did get a bit of a laugh out of it, which you really shouldn't, to be honest.
It is.
Just there laughing and going, you're like, oh, I'm laughing. I'm laughing. I go, no, I've killed your mum and had sex with your dad. I'm like, oh, Jesus, what have I done? Oh well,
shit.
move on. I got a shield out of it.
I think if I remember, just sprints away from you at that point. Like,
Yeah,
couldn't get
just
away
absolutely
from you
just goes.
any
Doesn't want
faster
nothing to
than
do with it.
Ah, shit. Good times. I missed that.
Oh, it's
All right.
great.
We'll throw it over to you for this last one because, yeah, you can speak to Valhalla in a far more definitive way than I can. Where would you put Valhalla on this list?
I would put it as like I said, I played 102 hours of it. I reckon I got bored for the last 20 of it.
Oh.
But that's partly my fault too because I got distracted.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Which
Majorly
is
distracted.
kind of a compliment in some ways.
Yeah. I would give it an A. For me, I would give it an A because it's pretty much just Odyssey, but just not as exciting to me. For me,
and even bigger, even more bloated.
Way bloated. It's just, but I will give some credit, like the what do you call them, side missions. You can do them in 2 minutes or less.
Yeah,
they're not difficult to do. Some you don't even know you're doing by accident. I just killed a guy and I completed a mission. I was like, what the hell did I? What did I just do?
One of the 4,022 or whatever that we were talking about before.
And then I jumped on a little paddle boat once, and someone was standing on it. They fell in the water. Completed another mission. I was like, what?
Because they can't swim in this world. That person
I know.
drowned.
Oh, I don't know. It's just they're going, oh, I can't swim. It's cold and blah blah. I was like, oh, it's actually very nice. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Now I figured out that they were trying to baptize him, but he didn't want to go in the water because it was too cold.
Shit. Okay.
That was
right.
That was the whole thing. It was like, oh, okay. I just had I asked that person about it. Otherwise, I would have been screwed. But
Good
I think,
times.
yeah. But I think with it, I thought I was getting close to the end, and I wasn't, because there's a certain mission there. There's a certain mission there. I thought, yeah, we're done. We're almost at the end, and then it went on for another 20 hours. Another 20 hours. I thought, oh man, I was just getting to the point where I was just skipping cutscenes, pressing the skip button on dialogue because I just didn't care anymore.
But you
then
also
we got
didn't
to
want
the
stop. Up to a point, you still didn't want to stop.
I didn't want to stop. And then we got to the end. I got slightly confused. It was like, but I will say, Sean makes a return. He's a very nice person in Valhalla. Sean and Bex. Bex is back as well, and they're married. I was like, what?
Good on you guys. Let me just jump
great.
back into this.
I was like, where the hell have you been for the last 6 years? Well, they're hiding because they did. Let's be honest, in 4 they did a security breach and stole some stuff, but let's not worry about that.
Yeah.
And then they were wanted. But the stupid thing was, they were wanted. And then when I went back to this big wanted sign, and Sean's still at the bloody coffee shop selling coffee. Like, Sean,
they're after you, champ.
You gotta blow your cover, buddy. Get out of there.
The coffee guy. If I was trying to run, if I was wanted, wouldn't I just run, not stand here and make coffee? Good point. No one's ever gonna catch you here.
Who's gonna want to watch? Who's gonna look at a barrister? No one. They don't care.
They're just waiting for the coffee. They're looking at their phone.
Or just running around trying to look in really stupid places. No one's gonna look at a coffee shop. Why would they?
No one would be the. Yeah, no barrister would do it.
Sorry. I take that back. I take that back. It's genius idea.
Yeah, it's actually brilliant.
But I say with Valhalla, I think the one thing I do like about it is that the weapons. I think I can't remember if it was Odyssey. You kill someone, you get a weapon. You're like, what the hell am I going to do with this weapon? None of that. You
Oh, they
open a
don't drop the
treasure
loot
chest.
as much. Yeah, there's not as
Yeah,
much loot.
open a treasure chest, weapon, armor, whatever. Match them all.
Well,
And they're all pretty cool looking armor, which is I'll give credit for. But like I said, the ending couldn't make sense of it, and that was the end of it. And
and
no
that
pot.
that leaves us
You get
today
a
where
ship. You get a ship, but you can't fight anyone with it. They do
yeah,
sing
kind of
songs.
little narrow
No sea
canals and all
shanties.
those sorts of things for the most
Yeah,
part too. So it's all.
and the raids themselves, they get a bit boring after a while. It's just.
Look, I do like kind of sending my guys in to do all the heavy lifting while I just again kind of
Yeah,
scoot
but
around.
some of my people just fall on the ground. You have to go save them. I thought you're useless.
And
You had one job.
just got to train them up, mate.
Just come help me. Come help me open this chest, would you?
Yeah, true. And that leads us to the present day where we've heard about this Assassin's Creed kind of Destiny style experience of Infinite, which is meant to be one of the next coming games. There was Jason Schreier, I think, saying in the last few days that there'd been a report about one being set in Baghdad, I think I heard.
Oh, we're going back to the Middle East, back to the Assassin's Creed
Schreier
days.
pushed back on that, declaring, why is he not appearing in my searches? Jason Schreier.
Oh, he's gone AWOL.
Oh, geez, is he?
He's disappeared off the internet.
Someone's disappeared. Jason Schreier. There he is. I saw something recently. He was kind of confirming. Nope, it's not. It's not that at all. It's set, and wherever he kind of highlighted. I'm trying to scroll through my Twitter feed now to find his.
Werribee. That's a.
Oh,
maybe do Australia. Just Werribee, Dubbo, and.
I can't find it. Maybe it was on a podcast or something like that he said it, or a video of some sort. No idea. Can't find it anyway. But yeah, he was kind of pushing back and saying no, it's not Baghdad, but there was some other locations they had in mind. I'm waiting for the Japanese one. I'm waiting for the Australian one, of course.
The Australian ones. What the Australian one would be just.
Actually, there's not like it's got to be fairly close to modern day. Australian doesn't really work at all because. You can walk into the Aboriginal sort of times and anything that went on there, but I feel like you're opening a can of worms. That's that's dangerous.
That's a do not go there situation. It's very dangerous.
Finest of fine lines that you'd be walking with it, and like to suggest, I don't know, there was one tribe that was, the bad group versus if you start painting people that way, I think the price would be because there's just not as much documented. We don't have that sort of history documented, so you'd be
all it is just
so I guess it just means it has to be the modern Assassin's Creed then. Like maybe it's Assassin's Creed in the middle of the Cronulla riots,
or politics, because it just seems that every cabinet person just disappears after a while.
In the back all the time.
Yeah, stabbing each other in the back and just do whatever.
Oh, we know what happened to Harold Holt. He didn't go for a swim and die. He went for a swim and then was knifed by an assassin.
Yeah. Just by accident. No one wants to talk about it.
Assassin's
Creed? Was it even Harold that went for a swim? Was it even Harold that went for a swim? We never know.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
And then we could have the Simpsons style one, like where they're, sitting in the
Mr.
lake.
Prime Minister in the lake.
Mr. Prime Minister.
So is it assassination by boot?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a shit show, and it's a good point. Actually, it'd be a very bad game.
Actually, the currency would be good. Just dollary dues.
And even then, it's too late for them to do Japan because Ghost of Tsushima's already done it.
Well, they can maybe try and improve on it, but good luck with that.
Good luck.
Good luck.
That'd be
Antarctica. No one's done Antarctica yet.
The great Igloo Wars.
Just hunting polar bears and seals.
I mean, hunting polar bears would be exciting, but I don't know what you can do before. Yeah, seals. That's a bit rough. Those defenseless fuckers.
No.
Well, we'll wrap things up there because I reckon we've gone for, as I check it now, we've been chatting for over an hour about Assassin's Creed titles. But we've ranked them all, the core ones anyway.
That's like 1/10 of my gameplay.
Yeah.
1 hour.
100th, actually.
100th. Wow.
So if we do this another 100 times, we'll get close to spending the amount of time that you spent in Valhalla alone. So that is where we'll wrap things up for this episode of Patched. Are you happy with that list?
Yeah. All I can say is I'm glad we agreed on the S tiers. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. So we'll quickly whip through it and then we'll wind everything up. So our S tiers were Assassin's Creed 2, 4, Black Flag, and Odyssey.
Yes.
The A tier is Origins and Valhalla. Our B tier has Brotherhood, 3, Rogue, Unity, and Syndicate. C is the original Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed Revelations, and then D is Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, the Vita spin-off of 3. Let us know in the comments what you think about each of those, whether we placed them rightly or wrongly or whatever. And otherwise, yeah, we've been going for over an hour, so let's wrap this thing up. If you enjoyed this episode of Patched, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes more Patched, Player 2 Plays, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. Awesome stuff. Please subscribe and go and check it out. Visit the website player2.net.au for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks. Lower tiers early access, higher tiers monthly episode exclusives. And finally, Twitter. Matto.
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for me. The website's Player2AU, and all of these games are basically coming to PlayStation Plus extra this week. A bunch of them are on Game Pass, so if there's any you've missed, go pick them up. Take them for a spin, knife some people in the back.
One's coming out on Games Pass. That's not Origins. That's Camel Riding Simulator.
Oh, but I'm sure there's a bunch of them that are already on Game Pass. There might be a new one coming, but I'm sure they've got heaps already, don't they? I don't know. We'll see. But go pick up an Assassin's Creed. They're most of them are free, whatever platform you're on, so you're in a good place right now. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next week.